Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Force Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Josiah Ward, and today Rob couldn't make it, but I have with me Daniel and Brad. How you guys doing?
How y'all?
Good, awesome. Alright, so this is our Star Wars week where all we talk about is Star Wars. If you're only listening for the sports, don't worry, that'll come next week. Here at Force Sports, we alternate between sports and Star Wars every week, so be sure to listen to our sports-filled episode next week. I think we picked a perfect time to change format, though, because last week was that championship game. We talked about it. This week, it's all about Rogue One, because Entertainment Weekly released tons of articles and new images relating to Rogue One, and so we're going to go through basically the highlights of those articles. But first, I got some questions for you guys, kind of introduce the listeners to you all. First, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Daniel, you go.
For me, that's easy. It's Episode 5. Empire Strikes Back. It's darker. The darkest of the three originals. As you'll find out later, I'm not a prequels guy. Mm-hmm. I did like the new one, but Empire Strikes Back, that has the Luke Vader, moments. It has I love Hoth. So it has Hoth. And where can you go wrong with Tauntauns?
Right.
So I'm a big fan of Empire Strikes Back. I think the plot is the most intense from beginning to end, with hardly any room to breathe. You've got Cloud City. I mean, what's not in Episode 5?
Right.
4's okay. I like 4. You have to have 4 to have 5 and 6.
Hit me deep.
What?
It's my favorite.
4?
Yeah.
4 is your favorite?
So,
all right.
So 4's good. If I had to put it in order, right, I would go 5, 4, 6.
Yeah, I understand why you'd say that. But just, 4 is the one I could watch over and over. I could watch 5 over and over, but more so 4, just because, I don't know, it's just my favorite.
Okay.
Even though I understand when it comes to, terms of the movie and the quality of the movie, 5 is a better movie, but I just like 4 better. But,
okay.
Brad, what do you think?
I'm actually the same rank as Daniel, 5, 4, and 6, but if I want to say, my fun movie, the one I just want to pop in and just have, a bunch of fun, it's actually Episode 6. Because of whenever it just hits you with all 3 different aspects and everything. You got the lightsaber duel, you got the space battle, and you got the teddy bears poking people with sticks,
Yeah.
So, I don't know, it's just it's a lot of fun sometimes just be able to pop in and watch that and stuff. It's a lot of fun for me. But Episode 5, that one definitely holds true in my heart and stuff like that, because I remember as a kid, I used to recreate Hoth all the time with big Lego blocks. It was great.
Big white Lego blocks?
Huh? No, I didn't have them white. They had to be colored and stuff like that, everything, all the different colors. But I would make the walkers, I'd make the snow speeders, and I would break their legs, and that's how they go down and stuff like that. Oh, it was so much fun.
Wow.
I did that all the time when I was a kid. Always recreated that battle.
So, Force Awakens, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give it? Let's start with, how about this? Empire Strikes Back. Since that's your favorite, what do you give it out of 10?
So I'm giving that one a 10. And
10
here's why, okay? It stood the test of time. I think that's the case with any movie, which is why I could not give The Force Awakens, if you want me to give you my rank, higher than an 8.
Yeah.
8's a good number because it's really good. But because they had to almost retell, even though they didn't retell, they almost had to re-engage a new audience, all these young kids that really don't have the experience with the old trilogy. They had to reintroduce the style of the characters, the storyline again, which is fine. But for me, who's a seasoned Star Wars fan, it had to be at an 8. So I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
Not Rogue One, but the next episode.
Episode 8.
Yes, to be a 9 or. To move up at an epic level.
If it's not a 9 or 10, then they failed, because
Agree.
I can understand why they had to do what they did with Episode 7.
Yeah.
And there's stuff I don't like about it. Towards the end, it gets a little sloppy.
It does.
To be honest, it's very sloppy.
It seems very rushed.
Yeah, it's very rushed.
Very, very rushed.
But I understand why it's like that.
I do too.
And that's fine.
They had to have a large buildup of the characters and stuff and the story back behind it.
They had to win people back from the
Yeah.
prequels.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll get to that, but...
Yeah, but so I'd give it an 8 because I would give Empire Strikes Back a 10.
Okay.
Because it has too many epic moments you will not forget.
Yeah.
While The Force Awakens was good, there's forgettable moments.
Yeah.
There really are. There's a lot of dead space that's just... if you took it out, I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah.
However, with The Empire Strikes Back, you can't take Luke falling.
It's a
You
tight
can't forget
movie.
that. You
Yeah.
can't forget, the fact that Han Solo is being chased by Boba Fett. You can't miss, all of those things.
There's not one thing in Empire Strikes Back where I can think is like they could change that and make it
Yeah,
better.
that's why that's my 10.
Yeah.
So I'd give The Force Awakens an 8 because of what it did for the franchise. And for the new younger audience, but I'm looking for big things for 9 because they've reestablished themselves, and now they need to mesh the old Star Wars fans with the new, and allow them to come up together. Because if you lose the old Star Wars fan base, you've lost what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
So
what do you give Return of the Jedi, Brad?
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
We're talking about Force Awakens.
I know, but I want to relate it to Force.
So if that was your fun movie,
actually, Force Awakens replaced that as my fun movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I find it actually a lot more fun, and just to me, it gives it a solid 9.
Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Solid 9 for me and stuff like that. And everything,
no teddy bears.
No teddy bears. No teddy bears this time and stuff like that. No, that was the one thing I didn't like, but it was still a fun thing just to watch whenever I was a kid and stuff.
Yeah.
But Force Awakens, I can watch that from start to finish, and everything is fun. I think the lightsaber battle in Force Awakens was very, very good. It did not.
If you're going up against Return of the Jedi, it's nowhere near Return of the Jedi lightsaber battle.
Not Return of the Jedi quality, on the lightsaber battle.
But it is good.
Man, it made me feel.
Yeah, it was good. The best part in that movie was when Kylo goes for the lightsaber and it goes right past him and right into Rey, and I'm like, oh.
Well, I don't need choreography. Man, I want to see emotion. I want to see them just hack away at one another and stuff like that, just like how they did in Return of the Jedi. I mean, that was an emotional battle. Even Episode 5 had an emotional battle and stuff. Granted, like Episode 1 has a great lightsaber duel between Darth Maul and stuff like that, and that is an awesome duel. But that is the most choreography I want. That is the max amount. I don't want any more choreography than that, because otherwise it just seems like it's all fake. Yeah. After that point.
You don't want to feel like they're dancing together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the prequel question. Are you guys prequel haters or prequel defenders? Or somewhere in the middle, kind of like me?
So you're in the middle.
I'm in the middle. I can see why people don't like the prequels. I can see the good things in the prequels. I can see the really bad things. But it's stupid to say they ruined my childhood or something, like, to be so extreme as that.
I wouldn't say they ruined my childhood because it didn't come out when I was a child.
Right.
But for me, so I'll be real brief on this statement. As I am a hater.
Okay.
It makes it sound bad. I'm not a hater of many things, but when I think about the prequels, I have no good feels in my soul when it comes to that, and I'll give you 3 quick reasons. Okay. 1, the midichlorian stuff, I could have done without.
It's rough.
Okay, and I think that takes away from the mystery of what a Jedi is.
Yeah.
I don't want a biological answer. I don't want something that says because Obi-Wan tells you what the Force is kind of in the original.
Right.
And it's veiled, it's mysterious, and I was good with that. And then when they decided to introduce the midichlorian, it's like, I don't think so.
Yeah, especially like when you're a kid and you watch when Obi-Wan says that about the Force, and you're like, well, maybe I could have the Force one day, in your brain. And then whenever it comes to prequels, it's like, well, it's either you have the Force or you don't, because there's a count. If you're not on the list, you ain't gonna be a Jedi.
Exactly.
So I could see that. Okay, what's number 2?
Reason 2, I feel like the prequels made the Jedis out to be more robotic. And superhuman.
I see that as a positive, actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
I kind of like, because I feel like Luke, I can relate to him.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's kind of like a Spider-Man or Batman in the sense that he is human, superhuman kind of thing. Whereas in the prequels, their power, there was no limit.
Yeah.
And I don't like the fact that someone has 0 limits. I like there to be some type of balance, and I feel like the originals,
their actual powers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not talking about.
You're talking about like the politics of it, how they're.
No, I don't care. That was fine.
Like their whole. Yeah. Okay.
I meant whether you're robotic or not. The things that the Jedi were able to do in the new movies, in the prequels versus in the original.
Yeah.
It just became way too outlandish, and not that I could say it's ever believable, right? But it just feels like they were pushing the envelope too far so they can get more special effects in.
Right.
And I didn't like the way that went down. You look back at the old trilogy and look at how Luke had to train with Yoda, and it was gritty and grimy and intense, right? The prequels made it look like it was all innate.
Yeah.
And it was just something that you just had, and granted you do just have it, but you have to train it, you have to develop it, and there's an emotional and internal struggle for a Jedi. the prequels I felt like they took that out.
I can understand that. I could see how people defending the prequels would say, well, the Jedi were at the height of their powers during the prequels, so they're going to be that good. But when it comes to that, I understand the reasoning of that, but I would like to see them struggle a little bit in the prequels as opposed to just killing everybody and being really, really good at their craft and too good.
Yeah.
To the point where they were doing flips and
Right.
jumps and all that stuff.
Yeah. How do you slide back that far?
Yeah.
With those type of skills, and then to where they ended up with the original. I just don't feel like it meshed well with the storyline. And then the last one is, I don't like some of the backstories that the prequels gave some of the beloved characters that I loved.
Yeah.
One, Yoda. I know a lot of people loved Yoda with the lightsaber. I didn't. I liked seeing Yoda as the wise, speak little, and just be, a leader. He did that in the political side of things in the prequels.
Yeah.
But I don't like how he's out there just wielding a lightsaber, being a bad mofo.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to picture him that way. And then you look at the backstories for like Boba Fett. I don't like Boba Fett's backstory.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it takes away from the special nature of what Boba Fett was. Because, I don't know about you guys. I love Boba Fett. He's one of my top 3 favorite characters. Him, Chewbacca, and probably Han
He has like
Solo.
4 lines.
He doesn't have to. It's
That's
his
all you
presence,
need. That's
you
I
know.
know it's great.
When
I
you
love
just
it.
see him, you're like, yes, it is. It is on.
So how do you feel about the? Have you seen the special edition of the episode 4 where you see Boba Fett appear right there?
Yes.
Have you seen that where he's in the Han and Jabba are talking? Have you seen this?
Yeah,
They
I've
redid
seen
that
it.
where he steps on his tail or whatever, and then Boba Fett comes over and he just stares right into the camera and then walks away.
Yeah.
So stupid.
So
Yeah, but I understand that.
the backstory. So like Yoda, Boba Fett, even R2-D2's backstory. He's flying.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then Darth Vader built C-3PO.
Yeah,
Come on.
Again, don't like that either. I just don't feel like that meshed with the backstory that they should have had
Yeah.
to go with the plots of 4, 5, and 6. So,
Yeah.
all things aside, those 3 things ruined it for me. Overdoing the CGI, and I feel like those 3 things that I mentioned were done so they could have as much CGI as they wanted, and made it less about the story.
Right.
So that's me.
I'm not gonna kill it like that, but whenever I was little, I absolutely loved them because all the flashing colors and stuff like that, and all the crazy battles
Yeah.
and stuff. I used to actually watch, even though everybody hates Episode 2. I hate it now. I really do now that I go back and watch it. But I used to watch it just for the Clone Wars fight.
At the very end.
Oh, at the very end with Geonosis and stuff like that. That was awesome and stuff like that. Now, granted, the characters have horrible backstories and just many different plot holes and stuff like that. But actually, I have to go against Daniel on the Force powers for the Jedi and stuff. Luke did not have that much training, if you think about it, to me. You didn't see that much training and stuff like that. You didn't actually get to see a lot of extent of his power and stuff like that.
Right. And he was too old, apparently.
Right, and I did not like how they were robotic. I wanted them to be human, but I wanted to see some of their power. I wanted to see Yoda he was really, really old and feeble. I wanted to see Yoda just take down a Star Destroyer with his hands or something like that if he could, something crazy like that. And stuff like Mace Windu, I wanted him to see his more powerful nature and stuff like that, because whenever you read the different expanded universe books and stuff like that, these people are awesome.
Yeah.
They really are. Like Count Dooku and stuff like that does not get enough justice at all, because if you read in the EU and stuff like that, he is powerful. He can levitate, he can do so many crazy things, and he is an amazing duelist. And you get to see that pretty well in Episode 2 until he goes up against Yoda. But, it's just a lot of different things. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it whenever I was a kid and stuff like that, and whenever I go back now, I'm like, I can handle it. I can handle not having Jar Jar, but,
Yeah, I was going to say, after you're done, I was going to say props to Daniel for not even mentioning Jar Jar.
I don't think it needs
It's
to be
too easy.
mentioned.
It's too easy, but yeah.
That's a lazy argument for sure.
Right, but here's the thing, though. When I was a kid, I enjoyed the prequel so much that I actually had a Jar Jar doll. Or a little action figure thing or something.
Can we stop this podcast? We need to make...
I was a little kid and my parents got it for me for Christmas and stuff like that. I laughed every time he said, Misa Okiki! I laughed every time he said it and stuff when I was little, but as I got older and I started seeing what movies really meant instead of just a bunch of big bang boom boom stuff like that, once I started seeing the plots and everything and stuff just fall apart, the politics, yes, it needed the politics, but it was delivered wrong. Because you needed to understand what the Jedi's role was in the galaxy before they just dropped off and almost became extinct. And them as peacekeepers and stuff like that was very nice. And the way how they developed it into Star Wars: The Clone Wars animated series and stuff like that was actually very interesting. How they were always conflicted on being peacekeepers and war generals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was... That right there is intense, and it makes them go against their beliefs and stuff like that. So it's a struggle amongst the Jedi, and you can see how they collapse and fall apart within it and stuff like that. Because in the EU, if you have read the Darth Bane trilogy, they did the same thing. They fought and fought and fought, especially during the first book and stuff. They were very, very conflicted and stuff like that. With Lord Hoth was a great Jedi general and stuff like that, and he was very conflicted. Many people did not like his views, and it was hard for him to get Jedi supporters, but there was others that was like, we need to have a means to an end, we need to take these guys out, and he was able to get an army of light to go against the Brotherhood of Darkness and stuff. I mean, I like that kind of stuff, and the politics was just delivered wrong. Best part, though, of the prequels is this: when Darth Sidious is sitting with Anakin, and he's telling him about Darth Plagueis.
That is a great moment.
That gives me chills every single time. And that makes up for a lot of bad things that's happened in the prequels, because that right there was a great build-up moment. I wanted more lore-intense stuff into the prequels and stuff.
That's what you wanted in Force Awakens.
What?
More politics, isn't it?
Yeah.
It needed a little bit more politics because
not as much as the prequels, but it needs something. Because
well,
you don't know what's going on.
The prequels had the right amount. It wasn't delivered properly, I think, anyways. It was very dull, very bland and stuff like that. I want to see people like really arguing and stuff like that, not just some guy sitting in the center of the room. We have a problem.
You want the British government, not the American government.
Yeah.
Like they actually get in fist fights over in Europe.
Right.
Yeah, let's see that. I want to see a Mon Calamari punch a guy in the face. It'd be great.
The prequels, I mean, I'm in the middle. I could see why everybody hates them, but
I
love parts of them. And
I
also
do love parts of them, but I'm in the middle, but I'm more so towards on the hating side because of the movie quality itself.
Right.
And it just saddens me because I think that it has lost a lot of luster, and it lost a lot of people, and it lost a lot of fans and stuff like that, which upsets me because there is great potential in the entire Star Wars universe, galaxy thing.
Yeah.
It has great stories.
I will say, if you want to watch the prequels and you want to cut out a lot of the crappy stuff, watch the anti-cheese edits that are actually on YouTube. I watched the anti-cheese edit of The Phantom Menace, and I was like, wow, this is so much better. They basically, they change Jar Jar's voice and make it like an alien with subtitles. They they cut him out of, like, all his little silly moments, they cut out. The ending, which I really have a problem with, when Anakin goes in and is like, what's this button do? And he presses the button and it blows up the space station or whatever. They cut it all and make it look like he actually knew what he was doing. And it just makes it a lot better. They cut out a lot of the cheese, stuff out of it. So
That's right.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
It's like klutziness won the battle for them.
Yeah.
Except for against Maul.
Alright, so let's move on to Rogue One stuff. A bunch of Rogue One stuff dropped. The first one we're going to talk about is new character details. We have, let's see, first up we have Jyn Erso, Felicity Jones, a streetwise delinquent who has been on her own since 15. She has fighting skills and a knowledge of the galactic underworld that the Rebel Alliance desperately needs. She's got a checkered past. She has been detained by the rebellion and is being given an opportunity to be useful, and by being useful it may commute her sentence. She's a real survivor. She becomes a kind of Joan of Arc in the story. So basically we already knew most of that stuff by the trailer, So nothing really new. I do like that they came out and said she's been detained by the rebellion, which I kind of figured she had. So she's, they captured her and they need her help basically. I mean, nothing to add. Is there anything you guys want to add to that? It's basic stuff. You know that from the trailer.
Yep.
Captain Cassian Andor, played by Diego Luna. Andor is by the book Rebel intelligence officer brought in to study the volatile. Can't read.
It's all good, man.
Erso, but he's no square. He's committed, steady, and practical, and has seen more than his share of combat. he conveys a fair amount of experience and the reality of what it's like to do this every day and try to figure out how to resist the Empire effectively and intelligently. So what do you guys think? Captain Cassian Andor. You like the name, by the way?
I do like the name.
Good,
The
good Star Wars
name.
name.
Both of the names are catchy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Jyn Erso sounds more modern.
Yeah.
But the Cassian Andor sounds very old school, and I like that.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like a Star Wars name.
Yeah.
There's one up here that we'll get up to that he's my favorite name, but we'll get to him.
All right.
Have you heard of the possible similarities between those two characters and Jane and Kyle Katarn?
No.
No? Because the plot of this movie, they say, is going to be very similar to, I think it was the video game Dark Forces, I believe, and it was a very old game and stuff like that whenever they first introduced Kyle Katarn, and Jane, and her last name starts with an E just like her, and it's very close. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it was, Kyle Katarn was an ex-Imperial officer and stuff, turned rebel and stuff like that. They both became partners and stuff like that, got onto the Death Star, stole the plans and got off of it and stuff like that, and then Kyle Katarn went off to become a Jedi later on and stuff. But I mean, there's a lot of different similarities, and I think they're maybe kind of like switching the character roles possibly. And also it's kind of funny because her name starts with a J, his name starts with a K, kind of match and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of interesting. I watched a YouTube video on it. Can't remember what the video's name was, but I thought it was very interesting how he compared it to them, and it's going to be something similar but yet also different at the same time, because Jane was very compassionate, very by the books and stuff like that, and now she is being detained, which means she's easily a criminal.
Right.
She's a criminal and stuff like that. What's his name again?
Cassian Andor.
Cassian and stuff. He's a rebel intelligence and stuff like that. He could easily have a backstory with the Empire because that's how he knows all that intelligence stuff.
Could be.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I thought it was very interesting and stuff like that. People were saying to go back and play the game so maybe you can get a
There
quick
might be a
glimpse.
mod online.
Might
Yeah.
be. But you can get a quick glimpse of, like, maybe what this movie's going to be about. Rogue One's going to be
And they've
about.
said they're going to possibly pull from the old EU stuff and put it into...
They have been
Yeah.
nonstop. They really have. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on to Chirrut. How do you say that? What do you think?
I'm going to guess Chirrut.
Chirrut?
I don't know.
Chirrut Imwe?
Yeah.
Is that the blind guy?
Yes, this
Okay.
dude is awesome. Okay, they say pronounce Chirrut. Chirrut?
That looks like Chirrut.
Chirrut? Okay.
I'm not looking.
Okay, this is a cool thing. They say he's no Jedi, but he's devoted to their ways and has used his spirituality to overcome his blindness and become a formidable warrior. Chirrut falls into the category of being a warrior monk. He still believes in everything the Jedi were about. He maintains that belief even though the Jedi are no longer there to protect the galaxy. This idea that magical beings are going to come and save us is going away, and it's up to normal everyday people to stand up to stop evil from dominating the world. So this guy, I'm not comparing it to the guy from Rebels, but the guy from Rebels just got blinded. Are you watching Rebels?
Mm-hmm.
He just got blinded, that Jedi, Kanan.
Yep.
And, I mean, he's using the Force already to overcome his, not being able to see.
I
He
think
took out Darth Vader.
They still came.
They saw that from that video game.
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed, yeah.
Yeah. With
I mean, they picked it. They didn't steal it because of theirs. They just
I know.
picked it. They picked it, and they said, well,
They're picking stuff apart.
they have to because they can't keep the EU going while Episode 7's going
right.
on. It just doesn't
Well, they
work.
picked apart on this blind guy, too, actually.
Yeah.
Because, was he a follower of the Force?
I think he would be classified in the Church of the Force.
Yeah,
Have you heard
right
of that?
there, that's another EU thing. And
Is
so
it?
because there's a Church of the Force, and there was like people that were followers of the Sith that were not did not have the dark side with them and stuff. They were just regular soldiers and stuff during the Great Hyperspace Wars. So there was people that followed both sides and stuff that didn't have to have the special powers or abilities or nothing like that. They were followers and believed in good or believed in the evil. So.
Yeah. I really like this guy, especially in that trailer. You see him like using his staff or whatever to take down those stormtroopers. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. What do you think, Daniel? Excited for this guy?
Yeah, I actually am. It gives a different spin on things. Not to equate it to other types of characters, but I think of like Cyclops from X-Men or
There you go.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's pretty
was blind, obviously. You think about the fact that the idea that sometimes when you lose a sense, the others get stronger.
Yeah.
So to see how that could potentially play into his character role might be pretty interesting.
Yeah, for them
Yeah.
sneak around, maybe he can hear off in a far
Something.
distance or something like
Probably.
that. Like while they're on the Death Star. I think they're on the Death Star, aren't they?
I don't know if he's going on the Death Star, but he's part of the group.
He
I
wouldn't
don't
know
if he-
either. He can.
I haven't seen
No,
the
just-
movie.
Sorry.
No, but I think he will relate to the Church of the Force, which is
Just like off of
Lord,
episode 7,
Lord
right?
Santeca from the beginning was
Right.
in the Church of the Force. He believes in the Jedi, but he's not actually a Jedi.
Right.
He believes in their ways, and he wants them to come back. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see what he does. We'll see. Next is an advertisement. Skip that. This guy is Baze Malbus.
Baze Malbus.
Is that the guy that's supposed to be like his best friend?
He's got
Yeah, yeah.
dreads.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
looks awesome.
yeah.
Heavily armored, Baze prefers a blaster to hokey religions and ancient weapons. Heard that before.
Yeah.
But he is devoted to protecting his friend Chirrut. I keep saying that wrong. Chirrut, whatever.
We'll know whenever the
Cheerio.
movie comes out.
Let's go with Cheerio.
Yeah.
No.
He protects his friend at all costs. He understands Chirrut's spiritual centeredness, but he doesn't necessarily support it.
Can I go on record and say I think he dies in this movie?
I think he probably does die.
I just feel like his character description lends him to be the type that's gonna get killed.
I think actually both of them are going to die. They're going to die together in brothers in arms because they're so close and stuff like that.
I would say most of the people in this movie probably die.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what I guess if you think about
But
what
I-
the plot is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kinda
but
hard to-
I can see like one of them like getting hurt or something like that, and the other one just going ballistic and saying, just go, get out of here," and just
Yeah.
runs after the stormtroopers or maybe even Vader, and Vader just goes psst, cuts him in half, something
Yeah.
crazy like that.
I could see this guy definitely dying. Definitely.
I can see both of them, both of you, Cheerio and.
Are you just anti-blind people? Because that's not true.
I can't say his name.
I'm kidding.
Like, you think Josiah's having a hard time. You don't want me to hear me try it.
Well, that's why you're not.
All right, let's move on. This is my favorite name,
The name?
Bodhi Rook.
Yes.
That's
That
pretty
is an
sweet.
awesome name. Do you disagree?
No, I
That's
love
pretty
it.
sweet.
Okay. This
Rook.
is played
That's a
by
good
Riz
last
Ahmed,
name.
who I love. Have you seen Nightcrawler?
Yes.
Great movie.
Yes.
He's really good in it.
I could spend all day talking about that.
Oh yeah, me too. Bodhi
I
is
think-
the Rebel Squad's lead pilot. He tends to be hot-headed, but abrasiveness is overshadowed by his skills in the air. He flies a lot of cargo, one of his key jobs, and he tends to be a little tense, a little
Volatile.
I cannot say that word. Volatile, but everybody in the group really relies on his technical skills.
Can you say another Poe?
Yeah, right.
Han. I mean,
Another Poe. These goggles look a little weird.
Or
Though.
Wedge or Luke.
it actually those look like water goggles.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I do think he's going to be cool.
Yeah. I really like him. He'll probably die, but right.
I'm not looking forward to.
I
the
want to
next
see
character,
that hot-headedness though, because it'll make him unique compared to all these other pilots that are always cool and having, Poe is having great fun and everything stuff. Wedge is very, kind of like square kind of guy,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Han's very relaxed and just like, yeah, I can do whatever. I want to see that anger that they was talking about, that hot-headedness and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see that, so he's at least somewhat unique compared to these other pilots.
Bodhi Rook, my favorite name so far.
You should be able to handle the name of the next one.
Yeah. K2SO. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
I'd say.
I'm not sure that I'm looking forward to this one.
Really?
So,
Wow.
no, here's why.
Wow.
Okay, so my first thought was like, oh, sweet, a droid that can kick some serious butt. But then I read the description.
All right, let me read.
Okay, go ahead and read it, and I'll tell you the one part that I don't like.
Is volatile in this description?
I don't think so.
Okay. This towering, powerful security droid is described by Edwards as the antithesis of C-3PO. In other words, he's tough, confident, not especially interested in human-cyborg relations, and the complete opposite of a neurotic fuss budget. Fuss budget?
You're good. Yeah.
I don't even know what that word is. Do you know what
I
that
don't know what a fuss budget is. either.
Okay, K2 is a little bit
Maybe
like...
a crybaby? Fussy?
Yeah.
because C-3PO is
Probably.
that. So.
K2 is a little bit like Chewbacca's personality in a droid's body. He doesn't give a crap about what you think. He doesn't fully check himself before he says things and does things. He speaks the truth. Like Jin, he's also seeking a bit of redemption for past wrongs. Droids too can have regret. What don't you like about that?
I want a bad son of a gun without the... I don't want him to have a corny sense of humor. Because it says in there, it's a little bit like Chewbacca's personality. I love Chewie's personality. Like, Chewie is legit funny,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
But he's never had that macho bad mofo, don't give a crap mentality. Chewie had feelings, stuff like that. If this is a droid that's just out to just kick tail, it better be sarcastic funny. You know what I mean? It better be a dark funny,
Yeah.
and then I'll be good. But I don't want him to make it a cheesy funny.
Yeah.
Have you played KOTOR or SWTOR?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, I've played a little bit, yeah.
You played a little bit of
Little bit,
SWTOR?
but I don't know what you're talking about. The character you're talking about, I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyways, you're wanting HK-30 or HK-40 and stuff like that. That's a droid that literally, he doesn't care about anybody. He just goes around killing everybody. He's just awesome. And he calls all of us meatbags.
I like that. See, that's
He's like, die, meatbags, and he just goes nuts and everything. And he just is awesome. And they brought him back in SWTOR for the Knights of the
I have
Rise
no
of the I can't remember the new expansion and stuff, but they brought him a different version of him back and stuff like that. So that's what you're wanting, and yeah, I really want that too. I would like him to have a gun and just be able to go blazing and stuff like that and be pretty awesome and stuff. But I at least want HK's humor involved in that.
As long as it's a dark, sarcastic humor.
It is a
I'm
very
good.
dark, sarcastic humor.
This reminds
If
me
they
of,
get it right.
If you've seen Rebels, they did this kind of thing with Rebels where there's a droid who is part of the Empire and he turned to the Rebels.
I
Remember
seen that, yeah. I
this
remember
past
that,
season
yeah.
they did that, so they're probably introducing us to that idea for Rogue One. Just
Maybe.
like other
Actually,
stuff.
was it somewhat similar to that droid?
The
the way
it
it
looks
looked?
pretty. I mean, I think it looks pretty similar. I have to double check, but yeah.
I just hope he talks like the HK guy and stuff. Like, you need to look up some YouTube videos of like funny moments of HK on SWTOR or
Yeah.
KOTOR and stuff like that, and it is absolutely hilarious. This guy's great.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This is the one I want to talk about a lot. Okay. Galen Erso, who's played by Mads Mikkelsen. Jin's estranged father is like the galactic version of nuclear pioneer J. Robert Oppenheimer, with doomsday knowledge that is sought by both the Empire and the Rebellion. He's one of those people that has the insight into, specific aspects of the universe and of just how the universe works. Where has Galen? Where has Galen been if Jin has been on her own for years? The circumstances of how the family got to the state that it's in is something that we probably don't want to share right now, says Hart. Lucasfilm isn't revealing his image yet, so this is just file picture. Don't worry, the button down isn't retro galactic fashion. So there's the picture they released is him in a button down.
A plaid.
Yeah, which I find very strange and weird.
That they haven't shown him?
They haven't shown him yet. That tells me that they're holding something back. I don't know what that is, but they're holding something back, because otherwise, why wouldn't they show what he looks like, right?
I mean...
They do this full article and all these pictures, and they include him in the article, but they don't show his picture, but they...
So,
I'm still confused on what he has done. Did he help develop the Death Star or not?
we don't know.
I have two...
It sounds like it.
I have two things. They relate him to a... what was it? J. Robert Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
The guy who worked on
The atom bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But then after he worked on it, he said it was like terrible or whatever.
Sounds about the same.
So I have two theories that would be pretty cool if they did this. Okay. The first, I don't know if they could do this, but this is a cool thing I thought of. Okay, so let's say he's the head designer of the Death Star plans, right? And I don't know what changes his mind about turning and defecting. Probably something to do with his daughter or something. I don't know. Seeing his daughter is on the whatever. So what if before he dies, he goes into the Death Star plans and he changes it to add an exhaust port, a thermal exhaust port, which is the one weakness it has. Wouldn't that be
The
awesome?
size of a womp rat?
Right. Wouldn't that be cool if he went and
That way it's not noticeable?
because
That would be cool if that was if that ended up being a intentional build into the Death Star as opposed to an oversight.
right.
That
Because
would
if you
be
think
really
about
cool.
it, in Episode 4, the one thing that blows up the entire thing is a hole, and they can't. I mean, seriously, that's it. But if you think about it backwards, it's like, well, this guy, he designed it, and before he died, he was like, I'm gonna change it, and maybe they'll have hope in the future. Before he dies, he does one last thing.
That makes me think of a different, almost the same, but a little bit different. I'll talk about it in a second. I just thought
What do you think about that idea?
I like it.
I did too.
You know, you wonder how they had the schematics of the Death Star to begin with,
Mhm.
right? I mean, they had it, and then when they were doing the mock-up, and they're saying, okay, if you go down the trench and you go this way, they had to know about that somehow,
Yeah.
right? And
I thought they used R2 and
They
analyze the
do.
entire structure.
they do, but what I'm getting at is why would that be built to the structure in the plans of that level and that detail?
If it's that big of a thing that does that big of a
That's
thing,
obvious.
they have to have some type of safeguard against. Yeah.
Well, here's the argument countering that and stuff. A lot of people have argued the reason why that hole was there was because the Death Star takes a lot of power to charge up that weapon and to shoot it out. And
Right.
to charge up that weapon, you need some sort of outlet.
Right, but
You need
that
some
small
sort-
little hole for that huge.
Well, I mean, they don't want to make it ginormous, otherwise a capital ship could take it out. And that's what they didn't
Right.
want. They wanted to make sure that no capital ship could take it out. The only thing that could is possibly a fighter, and they didn't think that was possible because it was like, we have all these hundreds and thousands of starfighters,
I can
we
see
can
that.
take them.
I'm just presenting a theory.
I like
What?
the theory.
I think they could work around that
Well,
theory
here's-
and make it better. It's just something from my mind. They can make it better. But,
Well,
and
also
also,
with it,
okay, go ahead.
sorry, also with it and stuff like that, like, he was like the architecture of maybe the Death Star.
Right.
But he realized that it was going to be a great threat and stuff like that, and he added that in. And since it was already being built, and it was already built in, and he couldn't change it, they found out and they threw him in prison, and that's where he's been at the whole time.
Possibly.
And then she finds him in there and breaks him out.
Possibly. I don't know.
That'd be crazy. Like, you
Here's-
also have a rescue with the stealing of the Death Star.
Here's my other theory that I don't know is true anymore just because I heard that they said that he was it's implied that he's the designer or whatever, but it's also been rumored that he's a scientist of sorts. He works on the Death Star. He's not really the designer of the Death Star, but he...
Cool if you built Vader.
So here's the thing. Here's what I was thinking. Okay,
Jeez.
the Death Star. The Death Star is powered by kyber crystals. Do you know what that? You know
Yes.
that? Okay. It's been rumored by this site that I follow that is always right about everything. They said that there's going to be a scene or a couple scenes where these scientists are working on developing or mining kyber crystals for the Death Star, right? So I thought, okay, what if he is the head developer of these kyber crystals and he's doing it for the Empire, but he doesn't know what they're using it for, and whenever he finds out what they're using it for, then he defects. Possibly.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because he's just making money. He's just doing regular old business.
Yeah.
I just want to know
He
what
didn't
planet
know.
he's on,
Right. I don't know.
because that'll tell a lot. It really
It will.
I
It
mean,
will.
Is he on a new planet? Is he on a planet that we've seen before? Is it,
Yeah.
I think they are going to introduce a planet that was in the Clone Wars, and I think that's up next.
Okay, let's get to it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Let me click on the next one.
I think he's the next one.
Anything else about Galen?
nah?
Okay.
No.
Another advertisement.
No.
All right. This is not the next one, but we'll get to that. I think
All right,
it's the
that's
next
fine.
one.
That's fine.
The last one, not the last one, second to last. Director Orson Krennic, played by Ben Mendelsohn. On the opposing side, this villain is an ambitious imperial. What the heck is that word? Do you know that word?
Nope. Apparatchik? I don't know.
Apparatchik.
This isn't an English lesson. Let's just
Yeah, okay.
go past it.
Who intends to use his squad of death troopers to pulverize the rebel uprising and ascend into the Emperor's graces, while hopefully avoiding the wrath of his enforcer, Darth Vader. The bad guy is a lot more terrifying when he's really smart and really effective, says Noel. There is a lot of palace intrigue. What's that?
I don't know what it means referring to the palace, but I mean intrigue. I mean, you know, you're interested
Yeah.
in something. So.
There's a lot of intrigue going on in the Empire, and with people conspiring to move up in the ranks and sabotaging each other. There's not a lot of loyalty here, whatever. So this guy's like, you see him in the trailer with that white cape.
Which is awesome.
He looks pretty cool.
Oh.
Everybody was saying he's Grand Admiral Thrawn, but he's
No,
definitely
he's not.
Definitely not.
No.
But he has like similar rankings, I think.
No, actually, I don't think he does. He's not an admiral.
He's a
He's a director.
He's a director, not an admiral.
smart.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, he has the white uniform, but he's not no Grand Admiral.
Right, he's not a Grand Admiral, but he has that white, full-on white outfit like Grand Admiral
Maybe
Thrawn.
he's a general. Maybe that's their highest ranking general.
He's a director.
He's a director.
Maybe their highest ranking general is called a director. I don't think.
I don't
Let's
know.
move on.
Why?
He's. Let's just know he's gonna. You know, he's out to just blitzkrieg the rebels,
Yeah,
and
he's-
he's just gonna be that.
He's very scared of Vader, but
He's
he
gonna
wants
be
to
the
impress-
redheaded dude of the next of Rogue One.
Yeah.
You know the redheaded dude.
You said
episode
I was
7?
bad on getting on blind people. Look at you getting on red.
I'll go on record saying redheaded. No, he's.
Alright, here's the last one. This is the one Brad was referring to. Saul Guerrera.
How is that not the coolest name?
That is an awesome name. Played by Forrest Whitaker. The character has a past that Star Wars completionists will recognize immediately when they see his name, even if he looks very different than the way they've seen him before. He even looks different from when we saw him in the teaser trailer. There's so much to say about his character. We're going to break out a separate on him and his history in the Clone Wars. So they released a separate article about his character from the Clone Wars because they kind of teased it at first, and then they released it a couple hours later. They said, okay, here's the character. And actually, if you look at his picture right here, he has like hair in this picture. In the trailer, he's completely bald.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with the reshoots they did. Possibly.
Could.
I don't know. Or maybe this is just a concept like this is something like wardrobe test before they started filming, and then when they started filming, they're like, well, I think you look better bald. I don't know what they did with that, but it's kind of weird. So his character, Daniel, are you familiar with Saul Guerrero? I assume not.
I am not.
Okay, I assume not. He's from the Clone Wars cartoon. Brad, you're an expert.
Animated series, not cartoon. The cartoon one is a different one. So I'm just saying. The cartoon one was actually really good, though.
I do like that one.
That was actually
the Clone Wars animated series.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went back and I watched because I'm catching up. I'm on season 2, and it's hard to get through because the first 2 seasons are just crappy. They're not very good, I don't think. But I watched season 5. I watched his arc, which is like 4 or 5 episodes. 4 episodes, and it's actually a really good arc of the Clone Wars. I don't know how it compares with the rest of the arcs of the Clone Wars, but he's in season 5. I don't know which episode, but season.
Actually, he's like it starts at episode 2.
1 to 4.
Episode 2 to 5,
something like that.
He's 2 to 5.
Okay, so give us the rundown of Saul Guerrero.
He's an extremist.
And let's not get into spoilers of that one thing that happens. Let's not get into spoilers until later on because we have an email about this and we'll talk about the spoiler. I'll go ahead and say it. I'll cut this out.
Oh, okay.
Don't say that because if people want to watch it, I don't want to know that.
Gotcha. I won't say that.
Okay, so we won't say that, but spoiler free, tell us what he is. We'll get into spoilers at the end of the episode with an email.
He is an extremist, and you're now probably going to see the fight amongst the rebels in Rogue One because whenever you have a rebellion, one side calls you a terrorist, the other side calls you rebels fighting for freedom and stuff, and it's all about a matter of opinion. And the rebels have to make sure that they keep that image of being rebels and not just a terrorist group.
Right.
And Saul Guerrero actually has a problem of having many terrorist tactics. Whenever he was in the Clone Wars and stuff like that with his partners and stuff like that, rebelling on Onderon, which I believe in Rogue One, if you watch through that trailer and stuff like that, the city that they're in
it does look
is
similar.
ISIS on all.
Isn't that weird that it's ISIS?
Yeah, it's really creepy.
It's
Very
spelled
creepy.
with I-Z.
I don't care. That's creepy.
I know. I watched season 5. I went back and watched this, and they said the city of ISIS, and I was like, did that guy just say ISIS? I was like, this came out like, okay.
Yeah, I know. It's a
whatever.
little creepy. And it's talking about terrorism. I'm like, all right, whatever.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. But yeah, I think they're going to show the city of ISIS, and they're on Onderon, and he is still fighting. And instead of fighting the separatists, he's now fighting the Empire.
You think so?
And stuff, which is actually really interesting because he fought for freedom to join the Republic, and the Republic turned Empire. Now he's having to fight the very friends that he made and stuff. And I can see him just being very, very bitter. And he's just like, forget everybody else. The people that I trust and everything stuff have betrayed me. Who's to say that they're not going to betray me also and stuff like that? I'm not going to trade one galactic government for another galactic government again and stuff. I just want my planet to be free. I will do whatever is necessary, and I will kill people.
Yeah.
Because in the Clone Wars and stuff like that, they're just killing droids. Big whoop.
A little different than when you're killing.
But
You heard it here first. He's anti-blind people and anti-droid. Let's move forward.
I hate droids. I'm like Han. Hate droids.
Yeah.
But but the thing is, Daniel.
There's a lot of hate going on in this room.
Oh man, yeah. After your whole prequel spill.
Let's continue.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the Clone Wars, he was willing to possibly harm civilians just to take out the droids and stuff like that. Like, he was willing to plant bombs and stuff in certain situations and stuff like that and take them out. He's like, this is war. He kept on saying that over and over again. This is war. This is war. This is war. But he had his soon-to-be senator friend and stuff like that to help them out and everything and say, hey, we shouldn't be doing that and stuff like that. We need to think about the people. We need to get the people on our side. He was like, we need to fight them. We need to take them out. This is war. Another person is like, hey, we need to think about the people here and stuff like that and show and spark hope and stuff like that. So them two collide quite a bit and stuff like that. And that's actually very true. You see that a lot with any sort of rebellion or probably terrorist group anyways and stuff like that, that they fight between being extreme and being almost too political about it.
Yeah.
Being so political about it that they don't get anything done and stuff like that. And I hope that they actually show that amongst the actual rebels themselves, that it is not easy being a rebel. It is not. You have a huge enemy going up against you. I want to be scared of the Empire by the end of this movie. I want to be scared of them. Yeah. And I want to feel that. I want to feel like, man, that looks like a hopeless situation. I don't know how they did that. It is remarkable that they did that, and also that they was fighting amongst themselves and all this other kind of thing, because they even say in one of the articles that the rebels do not like his tactics. And I think it's Mon Mothma that will not like his tactics, because she is very political and very, not going to get her hands dirty all that much and stuff like that. So it's just all over again. It's Saul versus that political figure over and over again and stuff like that. And it's
and that quote from the trailer when he was like, I don't know the exact quote, but he's like,
what are you willing to do
if they catch you? What will you become? Kind of thing.
Yeah,
that actually happens in the episode. It's kind of a mild spoiler, but he gets caught and he gets tortured by the at the time separatists.
Well, he's probably telling them about his past at that point.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He's probably talking to Jin saying, you don't want to do this. I don't know if he's talking to Jin or not, but he's talking to somebody saying, I don't know if you are all in for this whole thing, because Jin is not even a rebellion. She's not part of the rebellion, really.
Right.
She's captured by the rebellion. So maybe she's talking to him and he's like, you don't want to do this. If you get caught, they're going to kill you and they're not going to play around with you.
Right.
Because it's freaking
and
Empire.
Saul has been through a lot, and I hope they actually get to, reflect on that and, show what he has been through and stuff, because if they show that, it'll make you feel like, man, I can relate to him. Yeah, it stinks that he's an extremist, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm an extremist. What's wrong with me? So
I really
you start
like how they
relating to these characters.
In those episodes, I really like how they portrayed the Jedi, where the Jedi were just training them. They weren't allowed to be part of the fight. They were just training them. Mm-hmm. And then it's like kind of Ahsoka was there, who's from Rebels now, and she was just she had to take a back seat and kind of watch it happen. She couldn't really do anything.
That's hard to deal with.
Yeah, and especially for her.
And I wonder if maybe Vader will meet him.
I don't know, because technically Saul Guerrera...
Saul wouldn't know.
Saul wouldn't know, but he fought along Anakin.
Mm-hmm. Only for
a couple episodes. Like,
I think
first
it was
episodes. Yeah.
First 2 episodes.
But he fought alongside him, so possibly he knows. I don't know. But
no, I don't think he would know. A lot of people didn't know.
Yeah, most
even
people,
Ahsoka didn't know.
Yeah.
So many people didn't know. They just like, oh my gosh, a new Sith Lord just appeared and he's robotic-like and he is awesome. Like,
now, okay, this is a big jump. Okay, this is a big jump. You said maybe he doesn't know. Okay, so what if Saul Guerrera somehow knows, that he got turned into Darth Vader? And I say that because in Season 2 of Rebels, we see Ahsoka and she's like, I'm going to go figure out what happened to Anakin or who this Darth Vader guy is. And she goes off for like half the season. You don't see her. She kind of pops in and out, and you know that she's going away talking to somebody. What if she goes and visits Saul Guerrera, and in the next season of Rebels, we get introduced to Saul Guerrera? Would that be cool? Would you like that?
I mean, I can see her maybe visiting him one time just to track him down and stuff like that, but I believe that Ahsoka's more than likely going to Kenobi.
Probably.
The whole time, and if she wanted to, she couldn't find Yoda because she couldn't find Yoda whenever they went to that Jedi temple and stuff, that underground rock Jedi temple and stuff like that, but I think she's going to see Kenobi.
You think we'll see Saul in Rebels?
There's a good possibility, and I would like that and stuff, but I really like what Saul's going to be bringing. He's going to be bringing internal conflict, and it's going to make it that much more suspenseful, stressful, chaotic.
It'll ride the line of, are the rebels good? Are they bad? I mean, this dude's doing extreme things. Is it worth his extreme tactics to,
And you can see these citizens are scared. What little glimpses that you see of the citizens, I think there's only 2 or 3, because the streets are pretty empty. They're not wanting to come outside and stuff. But the 2 I seen looked terrified.
Yeah. All right, so that's Saul Guerrera. Daniel, you have nothing to say, but that's fine because you've never seen Clone Wars.
Yeah. And actually, if you get to your 4th question, I actually have something related to that.
Okay.
Which may spur some discussion.
Okay.
Cool.
Let's see. Next up, so that's all the Rogue One stuff. They released some really cool images. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but I mean, there's nothing to talk about from the images. They're
Those
just
Death
they look
Troopers
cool.
are awesome.
Death Troopers look sweet. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Somebody said this on Twitter yesterday. What if the Death Troopers? What if they're like the last remaining clones that gets used, and that's why they're so much better than people who are stormtroopers?
Because the
pretty
clones
cool.
were better trained.
Way better
they even,
trained.
They even mentioned that, I think, like
In Episode 7, they say that actually. Yeah.
they were better trained, but they
Once they started using the human.
Yeah.
they started stealing humans and
Right,
not
right, right, but
programming
that's
the
changed.
brain.
Right, right.
So-
But they use them actual humans that
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that, I think that'd be cool if they made the Death
Oh,
Troopers like
absolutely.
yeah. All right, so let's move on. Next up, Darth Vader officially confirmed, and James Earl Jones returning.
Thank
Now this was
goodness.
pretty much already confirmed like months
It
ago.
better have Darth Vader.
But it's actually now officially confirmed through Lucasfilm that he's coming back, and James Earl Jones is voicing him. Daniel, thoughts?
I have nothing to add except for I'm so glad Mufasa will be in this.
Yes.
Um,
Oh
Yes.
gosh.
if
yes.
if they even attempted a different voice, while you can mimic a Vader-esque voice, the thundering tone of James Earl
It's nothing
Jones
like it.
cannot be matched. So short and sweet, I'm stoked. That's a necessary.
Yeah, I knew he was going to be returning because he returned for Rebels.
Yep.
Which, if you don't like, you've never seen Rebels.
No.
Rebels actually sounds different, by the way. That Vader, even though it's the same person,
Yeah.
it sounds.
I will
slightly
say,
different.
Daniel, the one thing you need to watch is the Siege of Lothal from Rebels. It's season 2, the first episode, when
love
Darth
that
Vader
episode.
shows up. Holy crap! It is a freaking
Good
great
stuff.
episode. You need to watch that.
I will do so.
Yeah. All right. So the next one is this one you're referring
Yeah.
to? Rogue One crawl. In the article, it says they don't know yet. They're still up for debate.
Okay.
What do you think?
So a couple of quick things. Let me ask you this question:
Okay.
In Rebels, is there a crawl before the episodes?
No.
Is there anything before Clone Wars?
No. There's a
There's not a
That's
crawl
it.
though.
there's no crawl. No.
There's a quote.
There's a
every
guy.
time.
There's a guy. But go ahead.
There's no crawl in anything outside of the actual Star Wars movies.
Yep.
I say no crawl.
I agree.
However,
Oh.
they need to make sure that in this movie they explain enough backstory for me, for like a guy like Saul Guerrera,
Right.
so I'm not left wanting, because the crawls, aside from it being iconic in its nature, it serves a purpose of people take the time and please read this,
Right.
because it lends to the story and it fills in the gaps. So if they don't have enough in the movies to give me enough backstory, as much as I wouldn't like it from a genuine perspective, it's not a Star Wars part of the
Yeah.
episodes. I would almost say go ahead and do it if it's going to give me the extra information I need. So, do I want it? No, because I hope there's enough backstory in the movie to give me what I need. But if not, you've got to inform me somehow.
Yeah, I could see the struggle they're doing because a lot of people still don't know that this is not episode 8. A lot of dumb people
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
a good point. Without the crawl, I think maybe that would help say, hey, it's not.
That's the one thing I'm like, okay, is it worth people actually understanding when they go to the movie that this is an episode 8? Is it worth having a crawl and just getting it over with? Possibly, but I don't want it. I don't want a crawl. I want it totally different, especially with the new Han Solo, Boba Fett possible movie. You don't want to crawl in front of that.
I want to crawl.
You want to crawl?
The reason being is because I see this as a book, okay, a story. They say it's a Star Wars story and stuff. I want the crawl because to me, whenever I'm reading the EU books and stuff like that, they always got to give me a prologue. Every single one gives me a prologue, and to me, that's the crawl. That's the crawl in the book and stuff like that. And it gives me, I want to know the information. And also, I think the crawl is going to be there because it needs to be, because people do not know that it's not episode 8. That crawl it's not going to straight up say, this is not episode 8, you all are idiots, this is something different. It's not going to say that. It's going to give you a backstory of like what is going on and stuff like that. And it's even going to say a Star Wars
Story.
a Star Wars story and things stuff, Rogue One. I mean, it's going to explain it in the crawl and stuff like that. And I don't mind a crawl. I think a crawl is going to actually be more beneficial than harmful. And I think people will eventually get that this is a different movie because once they watch the movie, they're going to be like, well, that's not what I remember from episode 7.
What if they did a different type of crawl?
That would be
What if it
interesting.
wasn't the iconic black with the
Yellow
screen to differentiate it in some way? What if it was white with blue? Or something simple and subtle, but enough to separate it from the other movies.
Right, I agree on that, but I think the crawl is necessary just because it needs a good backstory. Because, in all honesty, if you don't have a crawl, you're about to jump into something that is so suspenseful, so dark, so crazy, which I hope it's so dark. I want it so dark, I really do. I don't want a happy movie.
Yeah.
I don't. This is supposed to be different. The happy movies are the episodes. You know, those are the fun, adventurous. The episode movies are adventure. This one needs to be war.
Yeah.
That's what it needs to be, and
Let's
I think a crawl
Let's talk
would be
about
very
that
good.
because our next topic is Rogue One reshoots update. Did I send you guys the article to this?
Yes.
I read it and then I kind of just picked out things. Tell me if this is wrong. The tone isn't changing. It will still be a war film. The reshoots are adding some small character moments within already existing scenes, and also to add more action with Vader. And also, I'll add that you really can't trust the source saying, "Yeah, nothing's changing. It's gonna be fine. It's a great movie still," because it's, I don't know. I think Kathleen Kennedy or somebody said it, which is, they're connected with Disney.
Yeah.
So, and also all these articles are pretty much, I mean, it's from EW, but they get all the exclusives when it comes to Star Wars. So you really can't
get
trust them. But I don't think the reshoots are that big of a deal right now.
I think, if anything, the article that you sent out puts it in perspective that people are making a way bigger deal about it than it should be, because they want something to talk about. They need something to talk about while they wait for December. They wait for the movie to come out.
Yeah.
They don't want dead space. So people have to come up with either controversy. Now that they've got the stills and some character development, maybe that's going to take place of the reshoot talk.
Yeah, I think
because there's a key thing in here that I think put in perspective for me what these reshoots are, and it said that they confirmed that although it went unreported last year, The Force Awakens underwent weeks of reshoots as well.
That's true.
We didn't hear about that, and we're, ignorance is bliss, maybe. If we knew everything, maybe that just gives us more things to complain about and expect. Mm-hmm. And that's why I like, you think back to the original movies, they even had fake names. They had Blue Harvest instead of it actually being Star Wars and stuff like that.
You know what the fake name of Rogue One is?
No.
Los Alamos. Do you know what that is?
No. I mean, it's a beer from King of the Hill.
No, it's actually connected to...
no, it's Alamo.
The atomic bomb. That was the...
Whenever
they
the Manhattan Project was...
The Manhattan Project... I've read a little... I forget exactly what it was, but that's like the testing site was in...
Los Alamos. Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So, hey, that's pretty cool.
As long as they don't change it from the dark and gritty, I'm okay with these reshoots, especially with them saying that there's going to be more Vader involved. I am hoping that whenever I go to the theater, I have this scene that's in my head. Like, they're trying to escape, they're trying to get back to the ship, and they tell the pilot guy, let's just say, use the pilot guy, get back to the ship, run! And he's running down the hallway and stuff like that, and the hallway comes to a T, and he's going to keep running straight, but at the right there, all of a sudden, as soon as he gets to that right point, stuff like that, and you just see him just, like, lift up and getting choked and stuff like that, and Darth Vader just walks around the corner, stuff like that, and they're like, run! Like that and stuff, and it'd be great, like, all of a sudden, like, it doesn't show it because obviously it's a Disney movie and so like they can't show that much I think, but what it does is like it shows both of their feet, like he's still suspended and you see Darth Vader's feet also, and you're like that, and you just see a guy drop and you just see his feet, and then just Darth Vader walk down the hallway real slow. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to see him just go through Rebels. It's gonna be great. I hope so.
So I don't think we have to worry too much about the whole Rogue One thing.
So.
Let's get to listener emails, unless there's anything else I missed from all the Rogue One stuff. There's probably little things I missed, but those are the highlights.
Yeah.
I don't think
first question is from Johnny Grasso. He says, for those of us that have not watched, or in my case, rewatched the episodes of the Clone Wars that Saw Gerrera appeared in, what do we need to know about him? What's he like? Extremist? Oh, that's my notes, sorry. Let's get into the spoilers of these episodes. So if you haven't watched it, just skip, and it's a Clone Wars animated series, so it's not like that big of a spoiler, and they probably won't even include this type of thing in it, but here's my thoughts. Okay, so what happens is Saul's sister dies, right?
In the rebellion fight, yes.
And what happens is Saul shoots a ship. The ship hits the edge of this canyon, and she almost falls off. Ahsoka's there helping her, And what happens is, I think Kanan shoots Ahsoka.
The droid is apparently still just enough operational to where it moves a turret and it shoots Ahsoka in the shoulder to where she then drops Saul's sister down to her death.
Right. Now, do you think they'll even include anything about it's... I don't know. I don't know after this happens in Clone Wars, who does he blame it on? Does he blame it on him? Does he blame it on the Jedi?
Blames it on himself.
Okay.
He said, whenever he ran over to his sister and stuff like that, he's like, I shot down that droid. And he's like, there's like, dude, it's not your fault and everything. So, but he blames himself and he is upset.
So that
He's
could
very
send him
upset.
down a very dark path. I mean, he was already extremist, but now he could move into like way past extremist.
Really, he was
like,
borderline extremist, really? I mean, he had extremist ideas, but did he act upon them? No, he did not, because
right.
he had his
but
sister...
now that his sister's dead,
Right.
he's going full-scale extremist.
Because he was actually the unofficial leader whenever the Jedi first
before,
arrived.
yeah.
He was the unofficial leader, and that's how he thought of himself. He was like, my way is the right way, my way is the way to do this, and stuff like that. I'm like the unofficial leader and stuff like that. But whenever they chose his sister, which his sister was the perfect balance between political, which was his sister's love interest,
Yeah.
and stuff. He was a very political figure and stuff like that, and he was had the extremist ideas and stuff like that, but yet he never acted upon them as much and stuff like that. She was the great border. Like, she was she kept them both in line, and they chose her to be the leader. Well, he got mad because he thought his way was the right way and stuff like that, and he went off and got himself captured because he tried to do what he thought was necessary to keep everybody else safe.
Right.
He is probably going to sacrifice himself, maybe. He has the tendency and he has like the drive, and he might even do it even more so because he still blames himself for his sister, and he's probably bitter as crap about it.
Yeah.
So I can see him doing that.
Yeah. So basically, what you need to know about this guy is he's got a dark past with his sister dying. He's an extremist. He hated at the time the separatists.
Now he's going to hate.
He's going to hate the Empire, probably. I would say.
Well, yeah, because he trusted the
into-
Republic, and now they have just turned their back on him and turned into the Empire. He's probably really bitter.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all you need to know. We're not going to go back and redo.
But he's
that.
going to be a great character, I hope.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, next email from Zach. What is the most unappreciated race in Star Wars? Then we have a sports question for Rob from him. Daniel, I guess we'll let you take it. There's 3 questions here. His second question, and for Rob, LeBron or Jordan, and what do you look forward to in upcoming Star Wars films? So the first question, most unappreciated race in Star Wars. What do you think?
I got 2, and it's a tie. Either the Twi'lek or the Wookiees.
Okay.
The Wookiees were slaves. At least they were told to be slaves and stuff like that. And that's why you only see Chewbacca and stuff, because they were, just blown to bits, especially in like the EU and stuff like that. They was always used for slave labor, and also they helped in the EU build the Death Star. So you might even get to see that they were working on.
I think now it's the Geonosians who did it.
The Geonosians.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
man.
flying people. I think.
How the heck did they do that?
I
There's
don't know.
bugs in space.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's alien, But and then you also have the Twi'lek, and I think the Twi'lek mostly because you have seen them also as slaves, but you've also seen them as sex object slaves from Jabba and stuff. The Twi'lek dancing around and stuff like that. I mean, the Twi'leks have been very much scrutinized against. You've seen them scrutinized against very much in the Clone Wars. You've seen the Wookiees scrutinized against in the Clone Wars.
Yep.
And you, if you have read or seen a bunch of the EU stuff or anything, the Wookiees and Twi'leks have always been scrutinized against.
Okay.
So
Daniel,
yeah.
got any?
I got nothing on this one. Maybe, I don't even know, can you consider a droid an actual race?
I think you probably could.
Because
They're very-
my thought was the droids.
They're very unappreciated.
I think because of their robotic nature, they just have an expectation that they have these tasks, but
Yeah.
there are some of them that have built-in emotion, and they're not accounted for in that way. So that's the one that came to my mind. I mean, they just treat it as machinery, which, yes, they are built, they are machines, but they have personalities. Don't just
Okay.
treat them like
I'm
a
gonna-
garbage
I'm
can.
gonna say mine.
Droids.
Don't jump on me. The Gungans. Okay.
Okay.
This is what happens to the Gungans in episode 1. They're just living underwater, minding their own business. Some stupid Jedi comes and wants to take one of them. Okay, and then they get pled by what's her name to fight with them, and they go and fight.
Yeah.
They help out and help destroy
Also,
them droids. And then everybody hates on him because of Jar Jar.
Yeah, because
There's one idiot.
One dude.
Yeah, the Naboo people actually did not recognize the Gungans. They thought they were almost like savages and stuff, and they had to eventually come together because the Gungans was like, we hate you all because of what you all think of us.
Yeah.
So I can see that. Yeah.
Okay, next, Rob, LeBron or Jane?
LeBron or Jordan?
LeBron or Jordan?
All right, so this is like Batman or Superman. It really is. At this
Okay,
point,
yeah.
I don't think there's ever going to be a right answer for this. So it's a matter of preference. For me, if you wanted to get a personal opinion, I'm going to pick Jordan. If I had to pick one or the other, I have to pick Jordan. Now, let me say a couple quick things. LeBron physically is a monster compared to Jordan. LeBron could play linebacker in the NFL. He got drafted, or not, he not got drafted, but they wanted him to play at Ohio State for football. That's how big he is. So from a size perspective, a physical perspective, you have to pick LeBron. LeBron could jump higher. LeBron can defend any of the 5 positions. LeBron can defend a center or a guard because he's got the speed and the height. Jordan was an amazing defender, but he stayed out on guys his size. Okay? From a clutch now, if you looked at stats as well, LeBron has more stats, especially through this age at this point in LeBron's career, because he's still got time, he's still got more years. So did Jordan. Jordan played till he was retired and came back even. But the stats wise, LeBron has more stats, but quantity doesn't always equal quality. And so Jordan, if you look at who he played against, okay, the skill level is far superior then than it is now. Okay, size, physical, all that stuff is better now, but skill was better then. You look at like the 90s Dream Team, which was the team that would go into the Olympics and just dominate other countries, like by 70 points. Okay. He was playing with guys like Karl Malone, Larry Bird, all of these famous people. If you look in record books, the majority of the records are set by guys from the late 80s, early 90s, which are guys that Jordan played against in the league, but played with on the Dream Team, right? Nowadays, you could go through the entire list of all of these rosters and maybe pick out a guy. One guy who's a star on every team. Back then, you had multiples. I mean, you had duos, tandems. You had Stockton and Malone. You had David Robinson and Tim Duncan. You had all of these guys. LeBron is playing against guys like Darko Milicic. And your question is going to be like, who's that? Exactly. Did you know in the first 10 picks of this year's draft, only 2 of them are from the United States? It's true. The draft is becoming an international spectacle because they're picking all of these guys from other parts of the world, and at this point college doesn't even matter. If you're in college for more than a year, you're not going to play in the NBA, which is why I'm probably the wrong person to ask this question, because I despise the NBA because of what it is now. And so, do I think LeBron is a bigger physical specimen? Can he do more than Jordan can? As a whole, yes. But I think Jordan had a bigger killer instinct, and Jordan, he played through the flu. He went off the court, threw up, and got fluids at halftime and came back out and scored 50 points with the flu. LeBron stubs his toe, he might not play. Things like that. But when LeBron does play, you saw in the finals, he can run down the court, and if he wants it bad enough, he's going to pin that ball on the backboard and put the team on his shoulders. So, personal preference is Jordan because of his quality over LeBron's quantity. And besides, Jordan had 6 rings compared to his 3. But Kobe had 3 rings, but no one puts Kobe in the mix. So I'm gonna stick with Jordan, but that's just a personal preference.
All right.
Here's my input. Jordan, just because he beat the Monstars.
Do you realize Space Jam 2 has LeBron?
You're really making a Space Jam. I thought that was a joke.
No, that is no joke.
No.
Are you serious?
And if they don't win, I'm sure he'll ask to play with the Monstars. So
I hope LeBron loses.
he won't. That's a Disney.
Come on now.
You better. Only Jordan has beat the Monstars.
Give me one thing you look forward to in the upcoming Stars films. Just one.
Not Rogue One, but the actual.
Let's do the episodes.
Okay.
So I'm going to say the one thing I'm looking forward to is that a totally new plot. Obviously, that's an expectation.
Yeah.
If I had to go with what I'm looking forward to, I'm really looking forward to learning more about Finn.
Okay.
Out of all of the characters, I want to know more about him. And I want to see a little bit more of a dynamic relationship between Luke and Rey than what I'm expecting. I want it to be something. I don't want it to be father-daughter.
Something different.
I don't want it that. Yeah. So I'm expecting a unique twist on their relationship.
Okay.
So.
Right. One thing.
Just me for one.
Yeah, just one.
Okay. A new sense of lore for the Jedi. Because the Jedi have had this built-up lore from the prequels and stuff like that. Their lore kind of fell off, and it was very mysterious. Therefore, for the original trilogy, I want them to like either rediscover the lore or even find lore. Since he's going to like the first Jedi Temple, I want even more extensive lore. Like I want it to feel more mystery. You know, just like I want to feel that same thing that I felt whenever Sidious was talking about Darth Plagueis. I want to feel that again. It's like that because that gave me shivers. I was like, dude, the dark side is awesome. I want to now feel like, dude, the light side is awesome. Like this is some pretty cool stuff and everything. I want a lot of, I don't know, there's that interesting storytelling that makes my imagination run wild. Don't give it all to me at once. It's like that. Give me bits and pieces. Make me crave it. Make me want it so bad, and then make a book about it to where I want to go out and buy it.
Okay.
So
I want to see Luke fight, which has already been rumored, but I just want to see it. I just want to see him just slash through some people.
he's apparently supposed to. I'm not getting into that one. That's a spoiler thing. I'm not doing that.
Okay, next, if this is from Kyle, if LeBron were to take the place in the if LeBron were to take a place in the Star Wars galaxy, who and what would he be and why?
I think y'all talked about that one in your all's last one.
I think we did, but
I'll be quick. I would say that to me, he is like a Poe. If I had to pick somebody in the new,
Yeah.
he's brash,
I could see that.
but he's very good at what he does. Right?
Yeah.
But I see Poe is humble though.
No.
Are you?
no.
He's arrogant, but
Go watch it again.
He's not.
he's arrogant, yeah, but at some points
He's
I think stuff
arrogant.
like he has a humble attitude about himself, the way how he talks to his people. It's like, hey man, how you doing? He like hugs them and stuff like that. Like he's
Well,
like
'cause he
very
thought he
humble
was
and
dead.
friendly. I mean, I don't know. His character is just a little bit. It's not so.
No,
It's not like that
I'm with
much.
Daniel. He's arrogant, but he has a reason to be arrogant because
Yeah,
he's
but
freaking
so does
good.
LeBron.
right. That's,
Right? And
I
I don't
don't know.
consider him a bad guy.
Yeah.
No, not in.
LeBron went back to win a championship for the team that he started with that drafted him, and I felt that there's a level of loyalty there.
Yeah.
And whether you like him or hate him, he did the right thing. You know, so I'm going to go with Poe.
All right. I think that answers it. And we talked about that, I think, last episode or
Yeah.
2 ago or something.
Poe is awesome. By the way, that clip where he's like shooting all the TIE fighters on. What was that?
Again,
planet?
he earns his arrogance.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. But I mean, he just seems like a nice guy and stuff. Like he seems really, really nice.
Have you
So-
met LeBron?
No.
He might be cool.
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't had a beer with him.
All right.
All right.
Thank you for your questions. If you want to email us, just email us at forcesportspod@gmail.com. We do not have a random topic of the week just because it's a long one this week, so we'll skip
It's all
that.
right.
Yeah.
It was
Uh,
good discussion, though. It was good.
It was good.
It's almost an hour and a half.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Wow.
All right, so you all want to plug your Twitters, plug anything, Facebook, anything? Don't care.
I don't really care. My Twitter handle is STLville84. If you ever want to follow me, I do tweet a lot of sports, but I also tweet a lot of science and fun stuff. So it's cool if you want to follow.
I don't remember mine.
Okay.
I don't.
All right. Well, that's
don't
all for
really
this
use it.
week. I believe this was episode 10.
It was.
Should probably checked. It was episode 10. Okay.
Is it bad when your guests know and you don't?
It is. All right. Well, that's it for us. You can check us out at forcesports.org. Follow us on Twitter at forcesportspod. And that's it. We'll talk to you guys next week.